31st Annual Trophy Cup. Checkered flag is going to wave. Give the victory to Tanner Holmes over Spencer Bayston.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon from Southern Oregon. Back home after a fun weekend at the Tulare Thunderbowl. One of the biggest nights of my 2025 season, and honestly, I think one of the bigger wins of my career. We took home the final night of the Trophy Cup. We didn't win the Trophy Cup because you got to remember it's a points-based format to win like the championship, which paid $30,000, but the final night paid 10 grand. We started fourth, had a super chaotic race, and came home on top, only getting the lead back, actually basically coming to the white flag, and then led at the checkered and parked the 21 Charlton Motorsports car in victory lane. And I actually didn't, we just chatted briefly after the feature, and then the video kind of ended as we went back and celebrated with the team at the trailer. And I really did that on purpose because I actually wanted to just take a moment to really take in everything that was happening. Man, it was loud on Saturday night. There was a lot of people. There were so many fans, and it's just unreal the support that we had, you know, being the team that won the final night feature. I don't want to use the word overwhelming, but it's just crazy, like the excitement. And then, you know, I feel like obviously you draw off the fans' energy. Just a wow moment for me, standing on top of the podium and just all the celebrating afterwards, and then having, you know, like I said, the fans right there. It was just such a blessing. And so now being back home, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about it, and again, how I feel like that race showed progression in my career of where I'm at as a sprint car driver. So many of you guys have been along for every step of this entire ride. You know, a lot of tough moments in my career, right? You know, yes, I've won some races, but there's also been plenty of, you know, the downs of racing. And I even think back to 3 years ago at the Trophy Cup when I almost won a prelim night and lost to Paul Silva's 57 car at the time. You know, should have won the race, was about to cross the checkered flag. And so for us to turn that around years later and have a situation where we could have lost again, but, you know, I was able to pull through. My team gave me an incredible race car. Just everyone did their part to get that 21 in victory lane. So I wanted to look at 3 moments during the race and talk about them. It was 50 laps. We came from the B main event. You got to remember the Trophy Cup format. The B main cars start up front because it's a full field invert. That's why the cars way in the back, they have like the best chance if they move forward at the championship. The cars up front, you're more focused on just trying to win the race. And about 11, I think it was maybe 8, or I don't know, it was around lap 10, we'll say, I got into the turn 1 wall on a restart, and honestly I thought I was crashing for a second. Like, I had a good restart in second behind Levi Hillier. I just got into the cushion wrong at a bad angle. It had built up on the wall, and I was full turn left with my right rear in the fence, and even my front end bounced off my whole right side of the car bounced off the wall. Could have knocked out the front end of the car. Definitely, I think it did knock out the Jacob's ladder. At the end of the race, I had no Jacob's ladder. I'm pretty sure it was from that incident, but there was also 4 or 5 other incidents where I hit the wall. That one was just the most significant, and I fell back from 2nd place all the way to 6th. And I won't lie, I had this moment in the car where I was like, dude, Tanner, you really are trying to throw away this race. You have a golden opportunity. And I was able just to stay really locked in on what I needed to do. I fell back to 6th, but within a few laps worked right back to 4th, then worked to 3rd, and was just making smart decisions. You know, I was running the top, but I moved down to the bottom where there wasn't a lot of cars, and used that lane when I needed and moved back up when I needed. And that was the first like interesting moment of the race, a chance where we really could have lost it, but kept in the fight and started working back for forward progress. And the next moment was when I actually took the lead just over halfway, I believe it was. I was chasing down the Rudine Racing 26, Levi Hillier. He had led pretty much most of the opening stretch after the initial leader, Tyler Thompson, flipped into the wall. And I give a ton of credit. Levi, he's from the Northwest. I mean, he was running a great race. I mean, at his age, to run the Tulare cushion like he was, like it's one of the most difficult things I don't care if it's a 360, like it's one of the most difficult things you can do behind the wheel of a sprint car. And I was making progress on him, and I was just trying to outlast everyone in the race. Like, it's 50 laps. I knew that that's where, you know, I've ran 50 lap races before. I was just trying to play it smart. I had worked back to second, past the W car after falling back to sixth, and I got a good run down the backstretch on Levi into turn 3. And as I got into the corner, like, he started to kind of work his way down as I was kind of basically already committed to throwing that slide job. And that's where you saw we didn't necessarily get together, but like that corner resulted in him getting upside down, which obviously was the last thing that I wanted. I was hoping to race him basically for the win. And it was a really tight situation. Again, it was one of those things as a driver, you just don't want to see something like that happen. I don't feel like I wrecked Levi, but again, you don't want to see us racing hard and that result in someone, you know, getting upside down. I thought that was kind of just a product of the racetrack. And when you slide hard and get to the cushion, if your right rear digs into it, just like it actually did to me the night before, again, it just whips you and throws you upside down. So the second I saw him start coming down, I was just trying to get far enough in front of him, but at the same time, I also started slowing up just in case we got in a bad position to, again, try to not send him right rear into the wall. And yeah, so that was the next kind of key moment of the race that got me the lead, but we still had over 20 laps to go at that point. Also, I thought it was interesting, you guys saw it in the video, but just to point out, my team did wing repair under the open red because it did tear up my right side wing panel, and just a couple of the struts and just all the support spots just kind of got compromised. And so my team, they used, I think, like a big screwdriver or something, and they had taped and just taped and taped, and they went to work on that.
Yeah, I stand. How many laps left? Get some of it. How much is in there? Just stick it? No. Stick it after you do that. Keep going, keep taking.
The other funny moment under that open red is I think Carly was about to say, hey, we need to fix this Jacob's ladder, and Drew kind of was like, hey, don't tell, like, it's fine, like, it's gonna be okay, even though we don't have a ladder. Honestly, I think it maybe actually contributed in a good way, a positive way, to our race car.
Everything's fine. Ladder's fine. I need a
It was just more funny. Carly, instinct, she's like, we need to fix this, and Drew was like, hey, let's not tell Tanner that, you know, the Jacob's ladder, like, he's good, he'll be fine. So, and I'm glad those guys left that alone. There was no issues. We, you know, obviously continued on. And then the third key moment was obviously that pass back on Spencer Bayston. So he had gotten by me. I'll admit, man, I thought I ran a really good race. I did stall out just a little bit, you know, trying to figure out what to do in 1 and 2. I wasn't making as much speed as I needed, and Bayston was able to make a run up on me as I got into lap traffic, and he got by. But that's where instead of falling apart, you know, the second he basically had slid by me in 3 and 4, I was able just to like analyze what was going on, realize, hey, he was able to get by me as I got in a bad position, getting stalled out in traffic. I noticed how he kind of had some good grip through the middle of 3 and 4, which told me that, you know, this racetrack's starting to get abrasive and it might lay rubber here the last few laps. I didn't even know, I knew we were close to the end of the race, but I didn't know if we were about to see the white flag any minute, if we still had 5 laps to go, which we still had about, you know, 4 or 5 laps to go. And you notice the next few times by, I kind of did almost a different line. Like 1 and 2, I dropped way low. That didn't necessarily work. It was gonna work, which is what ended up getting me the lead. You'll notice the next few times by, my line started changing. Like I would run against the cushion, I tried to turn off of it, I tried to actually just enter through the middle and see if it was full rubber, and eventually, like, he actually slid across 1 and 2 and got way in the dust and marbles, and that's when I was able just to turn off that corner and launch down the backstretch, because it was starting to get that abrasiveness. And I mean, my car had plenty of grip, which just a few laps before in the same spot, there was nothing, you would just spin. And so I was able to kind of keep my composure to search for that, and then, you know, make that move, get to the white flag, and then I just rolled right through the middle of that corner because I figured like there's no way I'm getting driven around. You know, you never want to play it too safe like that because again, there's always that option they could go around your right rear, but I figured off a 2, as long as I got to the exit, I was gonna be good. I got by that last lap car and I figured I pretty much had the race sealed up. So yeah, those were kind of all the exciting moments. It was a great finish, you know, from myself, you know, putting it in the wall early on. My race with Levi there, it got intense obviously into 3 and 4, and then the intense race with Spencer at the end, and then even in between that, me bouncing off the wall several times where honestly I thought I was maybe crashing. But I think that's just some of what Tulare takes, and nowadays to win sprint car races you just have to be that 110%. Again, Tulare's a track that you're a lot sloppier at because you're just going so hard there and you're basically bouncing off the wall, not even the cushion. I've heard many Outlaw guys say like that's one of the places you're on the verge of crashing to like basically win races there. So anyway, all in all, it just felt really good to win that race for Charlton Motorsports, and also to have such a good car underneath me where I was able to do my job for all 50 laps, and then also have everyone there. The Charlton family was there. Tommy, little Tommy, Melissa, a bunch of our partners, obviously the crew, all my family. Carly, one of my best friends, was actually producing. Kyler Shaw, he was on flow, so he was up in the booth. Just a moment that I'll never forget, and I look forward to going back next year and trying to capture the actual Trophy Cup championship that pays all the money and see the event grow into the future. But yeah, we are, like I said, we are back home in Southern Oregon. We're heading back actually to the Red Bluff Outlaws this weekend to race Outlaw karts. Unfortunately, Charlton, they had some other commitments, so we're not running the sprint car. We'll be back in the sprint car for our final race with them this season next Saturday. Again, we're heading back to race with Jimmy Elledge in Factory QRC this weekend, so we're still going to be behind the wheel, bringing you guys a bunch of good content, and we'll have plenty of stuff here to finish off 2025 and get into 2026, and I think things are only ramping up from this point on. And all that content will be coming out soon, and we're excited to bring you guys along for our journey as we continue rolling through this sport, man. I'm very, very blessed to get to do what I get to do, to be a race car driver, to have so many people around me, and get to live this life. And really, all glory to God for what I get to do. Without the man upstairs, you know, I wouldn't be in the position that I am. So thanks to all you great fans. That was just a little rundown on today's race. I really wanted to visit and touch on the win, give it a few days, kind of soaking it all in, and really touch on it. It's just again, it's so amazing what I get to do, and I wouldn't want to have anyone else along for the ride than you guys here on my YouTube channel. So stay tuned for more content, and we'll see you guys in the next show. Deuces.